Express online talk show. I am your host, Jenny Umali. And of course, with me today, as always, my amazing and beautiful co-host, Burns, Jill, and Rochi. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So welcome, everybody. It's June, LGBTQ Pride Month, and everyone looks forward to prepare for the Pride Parade. And I know that some of us, we don't have we are not fortunate enough to really celebrate LGBT Pride, and we love to party. And so today we are going to party together with, of course, a very good friend of mine, Joel Pascua. So let me introduce to you Joel Pascua. He is actually a registered nurse at the local community hospital in family medicine and a broker owner of KP Edgestone Realty in New Jersey, where Rochi lives as well. So, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited to let you know also that he is one of the board of trustees of the Pride Center of New Jersey as the major events trustee, and of course, a proud member of the LGBTQ. Woo! Where's my flag?
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Hi,
you for that introduction.
Joel. Thank you for sharing your beautiful presence today and our show. So, Joel, I'm just gonna let them know where we met. Okay, so 7 years ago or less. This is actually cute. So I met the Joel and the Jeff when they visited Manila in the Philippines, and I was still there too. So we met through a common friend, Carla, and I actually added him on Facebook because I love his genuine personality and very authentic, as you can see. And Joel, can you please smile?
Smiling.
Yes,
Thank you.
honestly, the first thing that I actually asked him, I don't know if you remember this, I asked him, how do you maintain your white teeth? It's so nice. It's so pretty. It's like it's almost like fake, but I know it's not. But it's so
No, it's real.
pretty.
Yes.
Hi, Joel.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Jenny. Thank you. And to your co-hosts, Benz, Rachi, and Jill. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, so I'm so
Happy
excited.
Pride. Happy Pride, everybody.
Pride.
Yes.
I don't know if you feel my energy. Actually, before we start, Jill was like, Jenny, can I have what you're having right now?
Yeah, what did you have today?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I am really excited. I prepared for this for 2 weeks, and Burns is the one who's actually hosting for today. And so, of course, I'm going to give the floor to her as well. But of course, everyone is going to talk to you about LGBTQ. So, speaking of LGBTQ, I have my first question is, how do you define LGBTQ in your own words?
LGBTQ. So, there's many definitions of LGBTQ, but you asked me my own personal
Yeah.
definition. I LGBTQ to me is people who are deserving of love, people who deserves to be loved, of course, and also love others, and just a civil, productive people, just like anybody else.
Yeah, just like you. Imagine you're a registered nurse and you're helping a lot of people, especially what all the things that's happening today. So another question: so, what age did you come out to your family and friends?
Oh man, this was actually kind of a long story, but the short story is I came out officially to my parents when I was 26. So I'm a late bloomer.
Oh,
Yes, yes. But I feel that I did already come out when I was much younger because I I had, well, I have four brothers and four sisters, and I usually gravitate towards my sisters and I hang out with them and I do girly stuff and all that. And since I knew then that, I was different. And when I came here to the States, I was about 14 years old. That's when I kind of like repressed my true me. and dated girls and everything, and did the usual. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the norm that is expected by the society. And then 6 years old, I I made friends, and I built up enough courage and talked to my parents at the dinner table. Actually, it was in the kitchen during the holiday, during Christmas, and I just came out to them. And of course, I was in tears. It was waterworks everywhere. Um, but it was a good coming out. And that same uh, a few weeks after that, I had a big coming out party in my house.
Oh,
So I
nice.
invited everybody that I knew that was LGBT, and I introduced them to my parents. And of course, being that Filipino, religious, very conservative Catholics, they didn't understand. It was a little hard for them, and I knew that, and I understood. But I it took some time for them basically to kind of realize, this is who Joel is. And um and then that's pretty much it.
And
I'll keep
that's the
going.
story.
I'll keep going if you want me to, but that was the story.
That got me a little bit teary-eyed there. Luckily, I didn't have to convince my parents because they already knew from a young age. Like a lot of the people that surrounded me, I was always being picked as a flower girl when I was a toddler. They actually put me on the table, like on weddings, and make me dance, and then I'll flip my gown, my skirt up, and I'm wearing shorts and sneakers underneath.
That's okay.
Here's a funny story. When my mom decided she'd throw me a debutante ball, and everybody
Wow.
knew me, was like asking, "So, do you have shorts and, and sneakers underneath that gown still?"
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
yeah. They knew from a very young age I was really boyish. Like I was a tomboy. So, yeah. Well, my question to you, because I never really had that problem with my parents. Did you? What kind of struggles did you go through, and how did you overcome that?
um
Because you came out like really late, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my struggle was just not being me, not being true to me, and going through high school and college. It was tough. I kept it a secret, and I had basically two lives. I had my straight friends, and then I had my gay friends, and I felt open and just the true me when I'm, of course, with my gay friends. But when I'm with my straight friends, I'm so reserved and almost boring. Like, what is going on with you? There's something wrong with you. So yeah, that was my struggle. The struggle was within me, actually.
Yeah.
They didn't know
So,
that
and
you're so
Was there a
colorful.
fear?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Was there a fear found out?
You got cut off. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Was there any fear that you felt that you were going to be found out?
Yes. Yeah, that was my biggest fear, and that people would out me. And if when I would go out to the bars with my friends in the local bar here in New Jersey, I'm always like, oh my gosh, what if I see somebody? So yeah, that was my biggest fear. Of course, in high school, that was my biggest fear. Um, I wasn't really open with anyone, except for my uh, I mean, I didn't really started going out to meet gay friends until I was in my 20s, until I went into college. So college was a big opening for me. Like, it brought a lot of freedom, like, all right, this is the time for me to really shine.
Oh my God,
So
I love this story. So before actually Jill will ask you a question, I'm just really curious because you mentioned that you had girlfriends before.
yes, I did. I know. Can you believe it? Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
had a girlfriend in high school, and two actually.
Oh my God.
and um and they're
Like at
both
the
married
same
with
time?
kids now.
At the same time?
Sorry.
You have
No. It's not. It's not. No, one was in the same high school where I went, and then the second one she went to a different high school. So it was kind of like I needed to create a wall. You know what I mean?
oh
That's
yeah.
struggle. That's the struggle that I was going through. Like, all right, I need to, I I met somebody, and the relationship was more so very nice companionship and romantic, not so much sexual. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Did you think they have a clue at all? I'm just
Probably.
curious. No, because
I
no,
was
because
thinking the
actually,
same thing.
no, because my husband tells me I really had this big gaydar. My gaydar is like I said, I can smell somebody from afar. So, do they have any clue at all?
I'm sure they did, because we, being Filipino, and there's a big Filipino community here in New Jersey. So we had like the Filipino Youth Club, and yes, so we had all kinds of parties and get-togethers, and I love to dance. I participated in all the dance programs that we put together, um, and I was always like, I want to do it, I want to organize it, and I want to help, and I was always like picking out, what to wear for the rest of the group. So yeah, I think people had a clue, but uh, I also was very open, and like when I'm in my element, I become, funny, and I become,
You're
I'm me.
free.
Yeah, I'm freer. So people like that about me, I guess.
That's good.
That's
Oh yeah, I'm sure they had a clue. I'm sure people had a clue. But Joel is Joel. That's how he
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Joelle, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us your story, and learning more about your community is so important, right? And when you talk about your friends and how comfortable you feel around them, right? You just want to, express yourself more and be natural, right? So
Right.
as you think about the events in your community, tell us about what that means to you, and how that helps you express yourself naturally.
Excellent.
Being
Yeah.
part of those community events, and what that means to you and your friends.
Yeah. Well, in college, I become more involved. Of course, I I participated more in social events because I felt freer, and I met people like me, and they
Right.
really, yeah, and that really helps. That's why it's so important to um to show who you are to younger people, because like me, when I was growing up, I didn't have anybody to,
Mhm.
to look up to, or to kind of relate to. But in college, I met people that are funny and just full of life, smart people, and that really helped me. That community, the
Awesome.
LGBTQ community, really helped me, and come out, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So
Also,
those.
Joel, just this weekend, not weekend, just this week, we just had the Supreme Court in California said that you're going to be protected for discrimination, right? And here is a question for you. Have you ever been, I know you've been a very successful person, but have you ever been discriminated because of your preference?
Yeah. Well, can I correct you?
Okay,
It's
it's
not.
okay, because I need to do that one.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a preference. It's an orientation.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not something that I chose. I'm oriented to it. So
Okay.
that's one. So it's an orientation. I would never say preference. As far as discrimination, growing up in the Philippines, I went to Catholic school. And being that I gravitated towards the girls and I'm always with my sister, I think I felt a little bullied in the Philippines because they're like, oh, he's bakla, like, oh,
Yes.
yes. And that term bakla is so negative. I mean, it felt negative, but not anymore, right?
Mm,
I
No.
It's basically, it means gay,
yes.
right? Bakla means gay. But when I was growing up, you would be called bakla, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so embarrassing.
Just for everybody who doesn't know what bakla means, bakla is gay in English.
Bakla in the Philippines is associated to like saying faggot, which is
Okay.
so
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. That's a perfect word. Thank you.
Yeah,
So it's derogatory.
yeah, it's derogatory.
yeah.
But now
Mm-hmm.
it's more
For saying that. So let's go
like
back to Joel.
So yeah, I felt a little discriminated or just made fun of or bullied there because
Yeah.
I was 12, 13, you're in that very vulnerable age, diba? And
Mm-hmm.
you're being called that. And I didn't have many friends there. I just pretty much hang out with my sisters. and and then here, growing up here, like I said, I kind of repressed my gayness. Um, and when I did started going out in college, I just chose the people that I hang out with. Hang out with I didn't hang out in crowds in like straight bars.
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel a whole lot of discrimination when I was in that age when I was in college. Um, I don't know. I think it's much better now. It's gotten much
Mm-hmm.
better. The treatment of LGBTQ, for me personally, I'm not speaking
Okay.
for everybody, because of how the people paved the way for us. They fought really hard for the LGBTQ community. So it made it easier for me personally.
how about
Um,
career? Did you have any experience like getting discriminated from while you're like working with someone?
yeah, as a nurse, um, as a Filipino nurse, it's kind of like,
Okay.
oh, you're a Filipino, you must be a nurse. So they
Yeah.
associate you. Yeah, exactly. So that was a little rude, right?
Uh-huh.
And also in the hospital, my clients, my patients, when I come in with my stethoscope and I introduce myself, and they would assume that I'm a doctor. So there is a lot of, yeah, a lot of
Well, you look like a doctor.
You
You're
look like a
tall.
doctor.
You look like a doctor. I would think that you're a doctor.
yeah, but I'm like, I'm a nurse. So there's a lot of pre pre notions,
Yeah.
what is, yeah,
Preconceived
So not
notions.
necessarily like you being,
notions. Yes, exactly.
not necessarily you being gay, right? So it's basically just like you said, the notion of when you're Filipino, automatically
Yes.
you're a nurse, right?
You're a nurse, yeah.
Yeah, true. And when you're Vietnamese, you're
You own a nail salon.
a nail salon owner. So yeah, that's right. So well, I think I don't think that's discrimination. I think
No,
yeah, I don't think that's discrimination. That's good.
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, we have to educate people.
I think that's the most important thing. Like my story, um, so I've had those. Like when I was back in the Philippines, I was always afraid of. I had Jill would laugh again.
You have the craziest stories, Burns. I just saying.
I would
I
wear
love them.
makeup, 3-inch heels. I'd get hit on by my client. I swear. Hair, and then I have to like be fully made up, and I would really spend a lot of money like to look girly. So because when I used to sell cars for Volvo, my clients were really high profile clients. It's all like CEOs and senior officers of the top 500 corporations. And so I have to look my best all the time. Otherwise, like, I'd be endangering the possibility of making sales. So I had to do that. And then slowly I was transitioning, like being more comfortable who I am. But still, everybody knew already that I was gay because our president was gay, like the president of the company. And then the HR manager was a lesbian. So I came out like I'm gay. And then I would bring my girlfriend back then to our office events. And then here in America, I was still, when I first moved, I was still hiding, but I was like, you could tell I was I was gay because the way I dressed. And then I moved to Walnut Creek, and I had my care home. And this lady, I'm interviewing the daughter of a prospective client, and she goes, "Oh, my mother doesn't like lesbians."
Ooh.
That, like, where did that come from? Then you should have walked out the door, like, even before coming in when I opened it, And like, we spent an hour talking, interviewing, and then say that very end. I'm like, you should have just said you didn't want. I was like, oh my God, I was so controlling myself. Like, I felt my blood like rush to my head.
But I have a question, Burns. When you like encountered such thing, does it hurt your ego or does it hurt your feelings? Like, what
Well,
is your besides from being so angry and mad and
speaker hit it on my knee.
no, emotionally, does it have like a aftermath effect?
Well, it did, like my confidence got a little bit shattered. Well, as expected, because then, is this the norm? Is this why we're not getting clients? Is this because of I'm gay? So that was the problem. So that was my issue. It became an issue because I started believing that maybe I'm gay is why people don't gravitate to my care home. So
yeah, see that it does affect mentally and emotionally, right? When people actually say something that I mean, it's so surprising for someone who okay, let me just say it like this. It's so surprising for someone who doesn't really know, or like what Joel said, that if you are not educated enough to understand each community, not just LGBT, I think that's the hardest part. We cannot force ourselves for people to understand us. Just the only thing that we can really do for the community is be aware or spread awareness, right? And you know what? Let me just tell you a story. So I got really so hurt and emotionally. It hit me emotionally when I heard the news 2 years ago that one of the actresses in the Philippines, okay, she committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
Her parents are both very famous in the Philippines as actors. And then she was, when you have parents who are very famous and popular, everybody knows you as well. And she was actually like a good singer. So she started, working as a singer as well. And then she's 14 years old.
Oh, gosh.
She's 14 years old. And she committed suicide because she said that I don't want anybody to know what I'm going through. And I don't want my parents to be so ashamed of me because of who I am. And so she thought that the only way to really run out of that situation is to kill herself. Up to now, I get the response. And that's why when of course, my son, Jonathan, he's not really open. He's not really like, he knows, he accepted that he's queer, but he wanted to keep it to just like, I need respect. I want respect. Whoever I am, the most important thing right now is that my family loves me, that my mom understands where I'm at. And so when I heard that news, I called him and I said that, hey, I'm so proud of you. And you know that whatever happens, I am your mother. And what's the important thing here is that you are you. And you know what he said? He said that, Mom, you raised me very well. You raised us very well. You embraced me at the age of 7. And like I said, I am very much aware of who I am, and that's important. I am who I am. I am what I am.
Actually, with your follow up with you, Jenny, no, my kids know me as a very, I would say, very religious, strict Catholic. Like, I really push them into choir, altar serving, they know. But they were surprised that I'm very much accepting with the gay community.
Yeah.
And actually, I said, why? Because maybe most of you don't know it, but actually 2 of my first cousins, one is a lesbian and one is gay. So I've seen them, growing up, like Burn Story. I've seen my ate dressing up to the nines in heels. And then all of a sudden, like maybe, after she graduated college, she started working. And she's like that sexy, whatever that connotation is, that she's very pretty. Then all of a sudden, like after maybe 3 years, or I was probably in high school, one time she visited me and I'm like, hey, what happened? You're now, I would say you're now pogi, not maganda. Pogi means handsome.
Yeah.
So she's not the pretty one anymore. You're the handsome one.
Yes.
And when I had that, but all the while I know that she's still like my big sister. That's ate. So that's still I still call her that way. And then when I describe her as her, she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna confuse you with your grammar. It's fine.
Anyway, we don't have he or she or her or him in the Philippines.
I know, right?
Word
So
that differentiates he or she. So just for Jill's info.
Say that again, Burns.
say the he or she.
There's no he or she.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
a noun for it. I mean, it's just
It's just you.
that's why
We only got the word you.
Or us.
Yeah. That's
You or us. Okay.
so when my kids were they were like, why are you so, you're very accepting. And then now, because I have 3 teenagers, and now they're more open because they have their friends.
Yeah.
So I've seen their friends who are when they were cute and in, I'd say, dance outfits,
Yeah.
the cute one. And then now in high school, I see them like boys, like real boys. And then they said, and then my kids would correct me and say, Mom, you have to call her they. Because I said, you know what? I think she's not gonna offend. I hope I don't offend her, but I knew her like she's my baby, and she knows that I am respecting her. I'm supporting her. It's just that I'm just conscious with my grammar. But they keep on correcting me, and it's funny because they're like, Mom, why are you like that? And then actually I posted it last year, but this year I'm posting it in again on my profile. Is that I am, what do you call that? A pride mom. Like, they had that group that if your parents don't want to hug you, you can hug me all you want, and I'm your mom now. I have that post, and they're like, oh my God, those people in church, they say they would be looking at you when you had that profile again. I said, you know what? I don't care. As long as I love them, and that's what Christianity is, to love them,
Yes.
and I support them. And I always tell my kids, if I don't care whatever you are, whatever you want to be, even if you want to be an airplane, because some of them wants to do, because forget it. Teenagers, they have all these things.
Yes, it's true.
But I said, if you're the best person for the job,
Yeah.
I'm with you. And you know what? If you're mean, I'm mean to you. If you're nice, you're nice. So
Yeah.
it's always been like that.